So today I wanted to talk to us about the game King of the Hill. You all ever played that? King of the Mountain? King of the Mountain, not King of the Hill? And basically what you do is you push and fight your way to the top and see how long you can stay there. Sometimes you can stay a while depending on who's at the bottom. Sometimes you come right down, don't you? But I was thinking about how that sometimes we play King of the Hill, King of the Mountain with our lives. We try to control our lives. Sometimes we try to control other people's lives. And really, basically what we're doing is we're making it all about us. We're number one. We're trying to get to the top. And I think that's kind of what our world teaches us to do with our insecurities. If I just can wear these clothes, or if I can just drive this vehicle, or have this degree, or have this title, or this much money, then I'll really be on top and I'll feel great about myself. Do you know what Warren Buffett said? He said, "Of the billionaires I have known, money just brings out the basic traits in them. If they were jerks before they had money, they are simply jerks with $1 billion. But why is it that we try to play king on the mountain with our lives? I think partly it's that upside down view that if we promote ourselves and put ourselves at the top, that then everything will be great. But I think it's also human nature to compare ourselves with others. And we look around and we see what we think someone else has or that we don't have, then we become dissatisfied. And so there are two things I want us to remember. And the first one is about our tendency to compare ourselves with other people. Do you know that Scripture tells us that each one of us was made uniquely and special by God? It says that God saw us in our mother's womb. Not only did he see us, but he knit us together or put us together piece by piece. And he knew exactly what he wanted, down to your very hair color, your eye color. He put it in your DNA, how tall you would be, your personality. And he wanted you just the way you were. And not only did he see you and put you together, but even before you looked like a baby, he had a plan for your life. Let me read to you from Psalm 139. He who, let's see here. He created my inward parts. He knit me together in my mother's womb. His eyes saw me when I was formless, before I even looked like a baby. All my days were written in his book and planned before a single one of them even began. So did you know that there is no other person on the face of this earth who has your exact combination of strengths, your perspective on life with your family, with your hopes and dreams, and with your unique talents? And you are perfectly suited for whatever it is God calls you to do. And that doesn't mean we won't ever change or grow, but he has a plan for you, and he has given you everything that you need. So I think we can safely say there is no need to compare ourselves with others and play that game, that we can be comfortable and secure with God, with who God made us to be. And the second thing I want to tell you about trying to push ourselves to the top and stay there is that Jesus said something really profound, and it flies directly in the face of that attitude of promoting myself. He said, "The greatest among you will be your servant." He didn't say the one who pushes his way to the top, did he? He said, the one who is your servant. For the one who exalts himself will be brought low, and the one who is humble will be exalted. And that's not just a play on words. Do you remember the night before the crucifixion when the disciples were all gathered? And they kind of had a tendency to compare themselves, didn't they? Who's going to be greatest among us? And Jesus redefined greatness that night. You remember what he did? He washed their feet. And that's something we maybe do today and we don't really understand. But at that time, everybody needed their feet washed. They wore sandals and they walked on dirty roads. And that job was usually reserved for the very lowest of the low servants. And Jesus himself got down and washed their feet and led by example that he was being a servant to them. So it ought to make us rethink our very purpose in life. Because, see, Jesus knew that being number one, making ourselves the most important, being the king on the mountain, it might feed our insecurities, but it can never feed our souls. And changing on the outside wouldn't change my inside, would it? If you're insecure and arrogant before you get a new job or a new house or a new car, you're still going to be insecure and arrogant afterwards. But on the other hand, if we let God transform us into humble, caring, compassionate people who are comfortable with who he made us to be, then we can be sure that no matter what new job or title or how much money we inherit, we're going to be that same person afterwards. So the next time you're tempted to kind of run your life like you're playing king on the mountain, just remember not to compare yourself with other people, and that Jesus boldly declared that the opposite of what we as humans think is true is actually true. A fulfilled life is not a me-centered life, but it's a life centered on serving others. And you don't have to worry about it. God has a way of taking care of your needs when you're making others a priority.